The deeper you go into meditation, the closer you get to God, until finally there is no separation. Not to say that you are God, but He is in the seat next to yours. His shoulder is touching yours. God is that close. No separation. A dog just simply wants to go for a walk. Just simply be fed. Be cuddled. A dog doesn't need for much. If your ego was like a dog, I would not bother with it. As it is, the human body does not need much. It needs to be fed. It needs to go for a walk. It needs some amount of snuggling. The body cannot survive without a small amount of affection. But the ego makes enormous demands. It demands that you be better than someone else. A dog makes no such demand. The ego demands that you not waste your time for a moment on anything except pleasure. The ego cannot wait. A dog can wait. A dog spends most of its life simply waiting. But the ego cannot wait, cannot stand to lose, cannot stand to be wrong for more than a second. If your ego were as simple as a dog, I would not bother. But the ego is extraordinarily complex. It is the demands of the ego that are destroying the planet. It is the demands of the ego that bring inner destruction. Before enlightenment, I existed in a primarily wordless state. I knew words and can function with words. I had a robust vocabulary for someone my age as a student, always. But they didn't have much mass for me. They didn't hold very much sway. For me, these are little devices that are used to communicate, to transmit, and then they are discarded. Do you know what a cipher is? All of these words are totally interchangeable. The letters, the numbers even, everything. They're just devices to serve higher communication. There is some truth that language develops around biology, but this has to do primarily with the more animal level of the brain. The words used in higher reasoning are all interchangeable. They are symbols for concepts with higher meaning, nothing more, and they could all be interchanged. It is the concept that was transmitted that is important. So words did not carry much mass for me, and I existed in a primarily wordless state. I reached enlightenment through music, which is a way. I simply came to see the entire universe as music, and I was one with this grand symphony. The state existed completely separately from words. Everyone, when they become enlightened, is an arat for a moment, completely blissed out from the experience. But then, seemingly, you are offered a choice. My choice was to move with compassion and do my best to leave not one behind. This is the path of the Bodhisattva. It's not that it's more noble. It's that my bliss depends on me actively working out my compassion. Arats don't have this dilemma. I do. But it is solved readily. You simply move from a place of compassion in all things going forward. The trouble for me was in how to share this bliss with others, how to help others reach enlightenment, because I simply had no words. And where before I existed in a primarily wordless state, now it was a completely wordless state. Simply everything became one. When I would drink milk, I felt like I was drinking myself. When I even thought something negative about someone else, it felt like I was damaging myself. There was simply no separation between anything in the universe. But my wordless state became a handicap in my journey as a bodhisattva. So for me, I had to develop a deep relationship with words. I had to get some mass on them. They had to develop right and immense meaning. The bridge between Arat and Guru is built through striving, no doubt, and my striving has to do with words. The concepts I have mastered. The art now is in the delivery, the words, and the journey the silence between them inspires. Keep these words and let them rejuvenate you. Let them purify you. Let them help you discover your inner child. When you discover the inner child, there will be no more words. There will be no need for words. There will be no words. Until then, keep with these words and allow them to be the bricks under your feet for a period of time. There is no hurry. There is only alertness, for the moment of dropping can happen anytime. Grief cannot be worked out in the mind. Grief does not exist in the mind. It exists in the heart, and so it has to be worked out physically. Have you ever seen a 2-year-old rap? He will sing gibberish in time, like he's really rapping. All in time, in rhythm, just like a real rapper, but pure gibberish. The child has no idea what it is doing. He is just mimicking rappers that he's seen before, trying to look the same, sound the same, do the same thing, but it's all gibberish. The child has no idea what he's doing. He just knows that when he does this, when he exhibits this behavior, he is rewarded with positive attention. He is playing a role, playing a character, playing dress up, wearing a costume. But the child is just mimicking. You are that 2-year-old child. Your persona, your personality is just years and years of this mimicry piled on. When you started, you had no idea what you were doing. You were just mimicking. But then the mind got involved, and the mimicry deepened and intensified. The ego gets involved, and now you are attached to the mimicry, attached to the imitation, as though it is the real self. The entire world is insane. If I were to deconstruct your personality, we would discover that your entire outward persona is based on mimicry and imitation. You pulled this aspect of yourself from your dad. You got this from your mom. This one scene, this one character in this one movie meant so much to you that you mimicked it. You imitated it and mimicked it so effectively and so naturally and for such a period of time that it became you. You are simply playing dress up, wearing a costume. Simply drop the dress up, drop the costume, and recognize the source of it all. All this ego tension and all of this drama is from outside of you. Inside, the pure child, the one simply waiting, the one without character or costume, arises without effort, without mimicry, a pure soul waiting to be discovered. The goal is to become the watcher and drop the mimicker. Notice the mind and question it. Put it to the test, and you will see that almost every aspect of your personality and your persona are just layers of mimicry. Watch it closely and take notice, and drop the mimicking mind. Stand naked as a child, and a totally new person emerges. You may be very surprised who you really are in the presence of others when the costume comes off. If you can remain naked in the presence of others, there is no more powerful force in the universe. People may be afraid of you for simply standing naked as they remain in their costumes. Jesus says, "Let your light shine before others." This is the light of nakedness that he was referring to. A subtle child in a crowd of celebrated intellectuals, but with a genius that has no competitor. People may feel very threatened by you and become upset in your presence. But if you can remain naked, an entirely different person emerges with more power than anything your ego could have ever mustered before. The whole world is insane because the world cannot drop the mind and it cannot drop the ego. The world has used the sophistication of the mind to prop the ego up and make it seem like it is real, but it is not real. Only the pure, natural state of awareness, only the pure witness is real. Everything else is a social construct to make the ego important, to make the unreal real. And so the whole world is insane. Only by unearthing the subtle witness, the one who watches without judging, can the world be made sane. It is only through understanding, immense understanding, that the water may begin to boil. A little bit of effort put into noticing the mind and noticing the ego over a little bit of time will make it possible for the inner child to emerge. And it is only then that enlightenment can happen. When you are without mind and without ego, it is only under these conditions that the world can be made sane. Otherwise, the mind, in service of the ego, will render each individual and the whole society insane.